What's going on, people, and welcome to Man Knows Football. You are here with Guni, and long time the return of the American Manchester United fan. Danny is back. Welcome back, Danny. And what a day you chose to come back.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The kid is back. What a day to be back. I'm so glad to be back. And I'm so glad to be so glad today to talk about my beloved Manchester United. Oh my God. Because it was pretty close to not being that way. I was like this close to coming on, and my comeback would have been a rage-a-thon. So glad that's not the case. I'm glad to see you doing well, and maybe not so glad to see your team is doing well as well today. But I'm glad. I just feel good. I just feel good.
It feels good today, sharing the love today. But obviously, before we get into the content, please make sure you do like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And also let us know your thoughts in the comments as well. And if you would like to follow Danny, his details will be down there in the descriptions. Clickable links as well. So make sure you give the brother a follow. You get me? But today's game over there at West Ham, the London Stadium, scenes to say the least. Hey, Danny, talk me through that. Obviously, you lot got the 2-1 result in the end, but boy, it wasn't easy and a lot of controversy involved in that game. But yeah, just talk me through.
Yeah, I don't know where to start, man. I mean, I just got to start with the feeling, and it's all about the feeling. Because
wait, hold on. Do you know where we should start? Actually, I'm sorry to cut you off.
It's fine.
Do you know where we should start? We need to start with the lineups. Actually, I completely forgot about that. I've got to get used to starting the lineups in these post matches.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to run through this really quickly. So the home team being West Ham, in goal, Fabianski, back four of Kufal, Kurt Zuma, come on, Kurt, Obona, Cresswell, and the midfield, you've got Fornals, Souček, Declan Rice, Vlasic, and then up front for West Ham, you'd have Bowen and Saeed Benrahma. For Manchester United, David De Gea in goal, left back Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Varane the centre back pairing, Wan-Bissaka the right back, Fred and McTominay as the pivot. In front of Fred and McTominay, you had Pogba on the left, Bruno Fernandes in the middle, Mason Greenwood on the right, and up front you have Cristiano Ronaldo. I will not go into this. I will not go into the subs. I will let you go as you were. I am sorry for the interruption. But
no need for apologies, man. My heart is open with happiness and forgiveness for everyone today. You know, I can even feel good for you guys, Chelsea. Maybe not. I won't go that far. But yeah, let's just talk about the feeling, because I know that for you guys against Tottenham, that victory is obviously a greater achievement, if you will. But just in terms of getting up for a football match and the excitement, going from one end of the spectrum of feeling so absolutely enraged that the referees and poor officiating was going to take away the 3 points from Manchester United, going to David De Gea saving that penalty from an inexplicable substitution of Mark Noble, coming on for that erroneous penalty. I don't know what to say, man. When people ask me how, as an American, I could fall in love, more so in love with a team like Manchester United and a sport that I did not grow up with and teams I did not grow up with, you need not look any further than a match like this. The drama, it's just, this is what it's all about. This is what it's absolutely all about. And I'm going to bring things down to earth. Like I said, this is not us. 21 is not coming just because we got 3 points against West Ham, but it's a very good victory. We played well, which is good. It's not perfect. You know, there are some things and some issues that I saw with our style of play, but Ollie got the selection right. He made the right substitutions. And in the main and the general, that's what he liked to see. And that boy Ronaldo, he is different gravy. He is different gravy, man. And I guess let me talk about the officiating, if I may, because specifically to that point, I just can't understand for the life of me how those two penalties, the one with Zuma was the second one, and I forget who the first one was, but I just can't understand for the life of me how at least that doesn't go back to VAR and we don't give, was it Martin Atkinson? We don't give him another look at that. I just don't understand the logic behind it. And you know, when you see the handball from Luke Shaw, that is a penalty. But the frustration for me is why does he have the second look at that and not the previous two examples? Because those were stone cold penalties for me. I mean, you saw them, right, Guni?
I agree more with the second one. the first one I can see why you think it's a penalty, but like I watched the replay a few times, and for me, I'm torn between whether the guy left his leg hanging or whether Ronaldo ran into him. That's what I cannot decide. And then again, but the thing is, it shouldn't even come down to opinion. The rules should be clear. We should know what the rules are. But It's never black and white with FIFA, whoever's making these flipping rules.
Right. And it never will be, perfectly black and white. It'll always come down to referee interpretation. But for me, this is what it comes down to. And it feels like the logic I'm about to explain was applied to a foul on Zuma by Pogba earlier in the match, which is this. If you put your leg out in such a way that I, as the player on the ball, have to move out of the way or otherwise crash into you, and then I lose my advantage, that's a foul. Right? Just because I have to jump out of the way of your leg and I get out of the way and maybe I'm not touched doesn't mean it's not a foul, right? Because what's the alternative? That's the logic I apply there. So that's why that doesn't make any sense for me. And then for me, it's like I said, it's that consistency within the match between the foul from Pogba and Zuma and that one later on Cristiano Ronaldo. But then later, the sliding tackle from Zuma, that's a stone cold penalty.
I agree that one
top
was
and bottom of that one.
I 100% agree with that one was. But yeah, I'm just gonna run through the first half a little bit. West Ham, as everybody knew, regardless of what opponents are going over there, they're always giving people a difficult time. They've got a very, very good home record. David Moyes,
we knew it was going to be difficult from the outset.
Yeah. David Moyes done wonders with them, particularly in that midfield, and they showed it today. But that's not really a surprise because I did expect that United's weakness this season was going to be their midfield because it wasn't properly addressed over the summer.
And me and everybody but the Glazers and and whoever else, I guess, in the United coaching staff and the board.
Yeah, no, that's it. But going forward, you lot are brilliant. But obviously, I've got to talk about the events that happened in the match. And the main one, the first one being 30 minutes into the first half, Said Benrahma with the opening goal from West Ham. Personally, at that point, I felt it was a deserved goal, but I think like in the run of play up until then, United were on top, to be honest with you. And
we were in absolute control, and that's another like bad deflection that's just sort of
unlucky on Varane. Yeah, unlucky on Varane.
Unlucky, but like you say, there was maybe like a 10-minute spell. We were mostly dominant, but there was that 10-minute spell where you could see that West Ham could score a goal, that we lost control just a little bit for that time.
Yeah, and I felt West Ham, regardless of the result, I thought they defended excellently today. Kurt Zuma in both halves for me was fantastic. Got away with a couple of challenges, admittedly. Obviously, the one that we just alluded to being the second one on Cristiano Ronaldo, the second dubious call from the ref. But I thought he was fantastic. He dealt with everything in the air. He timed his tackles very well. He also picked out his men pretty good in terms of not being wasteful of possession and actually making decent passes. So quite impressed with Kurt Zuma. As far as you guys, it's the usual names now. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. It's Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw, who I thought
Shaw's just solid. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I thought Luke Shaw had a decent game. Wan-Bissaka, you know what you're going to get from him defensively. I thought he was solid defensively.
And I thought we got that additional bit in attack this week, which we don't always get. And, there were still some of those like errant passes, a little bit of a bad touch here and there. But there were some really good passes and a couple of first-time passes. And there was one or two times where he went beyond his defender to get into the final attacking third, which I was very appreciative of.
Yeah, and then deservedly 4 minutes later, your main man again, Cristiano Ronaldo, 34 minutes in, equalizes 1-1. Do you know what? At first, I thought that was an offside.
I did think so. The little maybe last year it would have been, because it's like he has that like fingernail that's possibly ahead of the last man in defense. I forget if it was Zuma or Brawner or who. Ever. But I thought they were maybe going to call that back, but thank goodness it was not. Ronaldo, man, I gotta say, like it's immediately apparent that he is a step and a half above even what Cavani offers. Even if Cavani were able to play week in, week out, game in, game out, Ronaldo is just a cut above, man. And what's particularly surprising and encouraging for me is to see his pace and power, his ability to really getting behind that defender, even if he's receiving the ball ahead of him or not. he's got that extra gear that he can shift to that I haven't seen from a Cavani, from a Greenwood, from even a Rashford in certain positions. Like you see it when he's receiving the ball at his feet, but his ability to just switch that third gear on is it's good to see at his age. I mean, we're the same age, but I don't think we're cut from the same cloth, he and I.
I mean, that just comes down to his professionalism and how dedicated he is to the game. I mean, like even down to just what he eats. I think he just like counts his calories down to a T. He doesn't have any like bad like fast food, nothing whatsoever. Sleeps at a very
no Coca-Cola
time. Yeah.
No Coca-Cola.
Sleeps, has a set bedtime, has a set morning time. Like he is just like obsessed with football. And actually another player who is like that, but obviously don't get the headlines as much, is Thiago Silva. He's very much the same. Actually scored a goal today. So
I like how you interjected a little bit of Chelsea love
there.
All right,
I had to. It was a shameless little plug there. Just had to shoehorn that one in. But yeah. So Ronaldo, he's just that guy. And I mean, even to get that goal, it's about positioning and sharpness, bro. It's just being about aware of where you are, because there's also a thing of, you know, although the opposition might have the ball and you might be transitioning into a defensive phase, there's still this thing about switching on and still kind of paying attention where potential danger could be. Ronaldo is the epitome of that. And we are talking about one of the best football players to ever play the game. So I'm not really surprised at him coming to United and hitting the ground running.
Not at all. Yeah.
But you did see off the first half 1-1, second half as well. I think this half West Ham did play a little bit better.
Or we played a little bit worse, depending on who you're asking.
Depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
I thought West Ham were a bit bright. They were getting things through Declan Rice a bit more. I was happy with Pablo Fornals, but I was also disappointed with him in the final third. Again, Kurt Zouma being solid as anything, candidate for man of the match for me, regardless of result, in my opinion. But again, it's that persistence from United, and this is what separates the elite teams from the good teams. It's the quality that United are able to bring off the bench. Although I was quite shocked to see it was Jesse Lingard to come off, but boy, it shut my mouth, didn't it? What a finish that was.
Sure did. Yeah. I mean, I guess that was after the first penalty shout. And yeah, I think there were a couple of shots from Ronaldo, especially, where Fabianski was having the game of his life. So
Absolutely.
Saying had to say, you know, they made things difficult, but that's why you need that extra bit of quality, because sometimes when you have the situation, we've been in those situations in years past where the keeper was having the game of their life and we were not able to get it over the line. But this year, with that added bit of quality, this time in the mold of Jesse Lingard coming on, like you say, that is Lingard at his best, going away from goal, the curler. I love it, cutting inside. That's what you love to see. And you know, he's got the tempered down celebration, no moonwalking, no J-Lings, none of that. You know, classy move. But woof, I don't think I've shouted at a match, at a league match that was not against, you know, a top 4 club. This is the most excited I've been for a match, and that was just a huge moment for me. Yeah, so much more to talk about this. I can keep going, but I'll let you guide the ship.
No, because I just wanted to go through the goals first. Obviously, the game ended 2-1, but there are talking points in this game, and there were a few penalty shouts. Obviously, actually, do you know what penalty I did forget to speak about before we do come on to the other two, the Cristiano Ronaldo ones? We forgot about the Luke Shaw incident, although you did briefly mention it. A cross came in from the right side. I'm not going to mention the player's name because I forgot who the player was. Nonetheless, Luke Shaw's arm was judged to be in an unnatural position. The ball struck his arm. VAR check, penalty was given. Me personally, this is the point where I was furious, bro. David Moyes decides, I don't know where he got this idea from. He decides to bring on Mark Noble, who is cold, ain't touched the ball, to take a penalty in what must be the 92nd or 93rd minute, basically the last kick of the game, right? Against the goalkeeper like David De Gea, who's on the form that he's on, right? Takes the penalty. And this is what I'm going to say. It wasn't the worst penalty. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't the worst. But what a save from De Gea. Absolutely brilliant save. And really, on the balance of things, when you look at the game and you assess from both halves up until that point, United did deserve to get the 3 points, to be completely honest. So when I really thought about that, I was just like, oh, whatever. It was a justified victory. But we're gonna come on to the the penalty calls. The first one, like I said to you, I was a bit skeptical because again, I'm not sure what the rules state. I don't know what the rules state about that. But to me, it looked like Cristiano ran into the player's leg. I don't know if he was holding if that would be adjudged as he held his leg out there for extended period so he can go over or whatever.
For me, it's the same logic that was applied to the foul on, I think it was Pogba on Zuma earlier, not too long before.
But that was outside the box, though.
That was outside the box, but if it's a foul outside the box,
I know, it's a weird one, isn't it?
I know, we all know that that's not actually the logic referees apply in mid-match, but that's possibly what should be applied in certain situations. In a situation like that, especially because he beats him, he does a little step over and he absolutely skins him. So he puts a leg out there. That for me, it's a penalty. But I understand where the arguments against come from, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why it'd be given, and I could see why it wouldn't be given. But if I was a United supporter, I'd be pissed off if it wasn't. So I get it. But then the second one, now this is no doubt, I think it's unanimous. But literally, unless you're a West Ham fan, I think it's a unanimous decision that this one really was a penalty. Because when you do look at the replay, Ronaldo's in the box, he's getting the better of Zuma. And Zuma actually, because I looked at his body shape, he was very flat-footed. So Ronaldo caught him with that move, and Zuma was quite late in turn because of that. Made the challenge. It looked at first glance, he might have got a toe to it, but then when you look at the replay, he actually got Ronaldo's foot and he didn't touch the ball. And the surprising thing is that the referee actually went to have a look at VAR and still adjudged it as no penalty. And then my thing is if you're not going to give a penalty, you've gone to VAR.
Well, the referee didn't take a second look at it, though. I mean, presumably the people in the VAR booth, like the VAR Illuminati, wherever it is, in Oz or wherever, they looked at it, and
I swear he took a look at VAR for that.
He did not. He did not, and that's what pissed me off. That's what pissed me off so much was that compared to Luke Shaw, and also this situation compared to even the Kyle Walker penalty, the penalty call that they reversed, and the penalty plus red card call that they reversed because they gave the referee another look. It's just that's my thing. Just give him another look. Why not? If at the end of the day he takes that second look and says no, it's not a penalty for me, I would still disagree with him, just like I did with the reversal on Kyle Walker yesterday. Then I can say, okay, that's your view of it. This is your interpretation. But to not give that second look is really what blows my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the ref got it wrong here. And I think as a rival fan as well, I ain't gonna lie to you, I have to throw this in. It's nice to see a decision go against Manchester United or Liverpool when it comes to VAR. So I have some of that. But
definitely can't call us Manchester United on this one. And I don't think we've had a penalty yet this season, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll let the people then let us know down there in the comments.
Us know. Help us out.
Yeah, a bit more interaction from you. Help us out here, people. Don't just watch and not say anything. We need your flipping.
Do the research.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Do the research for us. But yeah, nonetheless, it doesn't matter. Both penalties, it don't matter. You got the 3 points at the end of it. Obviously, it could have been a different discussion if there weren't 3 points at the end of the game. But just sum up your performance for me. Like, do you think that was a positive performance going forward? A lot more positives than negatives this game? Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely, a lot more positives than negatives. You wouldn't know that if you look on social media. Definitely a lot more positives for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in this game. There were some negatives. The positives for me were this. Rafael Varane, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo. I would say the midfield, which is identifiably our weakest link, did particularly well today. Not amazing, but McTominay played a couple of really good forward passes. There was one in particular of a great through ball to Cristiano Ronaldo, who this was maybe the only point that he showed his age, was able to get through and behind on defense, but was unable to sort of get that change of direction and pull it back to make anything out of it. But that was great from him. Fred was mostly okay. You know, there's still a couple of situations where they had that liability ball. There were a couple of passes, Fred in particular, at the end of the first half, where, you know, it seems like, and I know this as someone who's not a pro footballer that plays football sometimes, where you get a little bit panic and you want to pass. You're just like, oh, I'm just putting a foot through it, and I hope someone's there. That's basically what Fred does every now and again, and it leads to catastrophe. So thank God it actually did not end up in a catastrophe. But a couple of situations, it looked like it may well have done on another day. So that was good to see. A couple of things that were concerning for me were Maguire didn't have a bad game, but there were a couple of times where he was careless in possession, some inexplicable passes. There was one instance where he sort of lost concentration and led to a chance on goal for West Ham United. So you don't like to see that. I'm not particularly concerned for the long term, but expect a little bit better from your captain of Manchester United, you know. Pogba didn't have a particularly great game, but it's fine. Greenwood as well. But you'd like to see one of our better performances when you can say that there are maybe many individuals that perhaps didn't have their best day on the pitch. I would have preferred to have seen Sancho start, honestly, because I had a feeling that West Ham, because of the difficulties they present to another team in the midfield and the defense, that maybe Greenwood was not going to be able to have as many chances. And, you know, it only takes one with Greenwood, I know. But I think Sancho, with his ability on the ball in tight spaces and his ability to create as well, might have been able to do more with less, if that makes sense in this situation. So I'd be looking to see if Greenwood starts against West Ham again this week in the Carabao Cup, or if we go with Sancho. But I think he did well, Sancho, when he came on as a substitution, along with Lingard, of course. I mean, you know, just again, this is football, bloody hell. Jesse Lingard from one end of the spectrum earlier in this week to the other this week. I'm so happy for him that he got his goal. You know, I like to see his connection with the fans on social media, but on the same time, I'm kind of like, hey, just let your talking, you know, let your football do the talking.
Pitch. Yeah.
You know, do your talking on the pitch. But so we got to see him walk the walk a little bit in this sense. So that's great to see.
Man of the match for you.
So, all right. So the idiotic fan in me automatically David De Gea. He didn't do anything basically the entire game. But that save alone, especially with his histories of not saving penalties, especially with the very famous penalty shootout for the Europa League final, you just love to see him saving a penalty in that sort of situation. It's a game of fine margins, is what Ollie says, and that's the knife's edge that it was hanging upon. But if I'm being more pragmatic, using my head a little bit more, I would say Ronaldo, even though he gets the one goal, just the amount of shots that he had. And chances that he was able to not create, but take advantage of, I would say, but a little bit of creation as well. He's different gravy, man, and that's putting it mildly. Everyone knows.
No, definitely.
Viva Ronaldo.
He is. He's one of the greatest to ever play the game. Me personally, my man in the match, I'm gonna have to go with Kurt Zouma. And there's no Chelsea bias about it. I just thought
no, of course not.
Yeah, I just thought he was excellent defensively. Of course, 2 goals conceded. He can't do it all in his own. But for the most part, except that one mistake that he did get away with, I thought he was absolutely perfect. I don't think he really put a foot in wrong. And West Ham, please take care of Kurt. He was one of my favorite players, and you've got a leader in your squad for the next God knows how many years you can keep hold of him. But on that note, Dan, thank you very much for coming back. You were sorely missed on this channel.
Thanks for having me back,
to have you back. And everybody that's been watching, thank you very much for watching. And please, before you go, make sure you do like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Give us your thoughts down there in the comments. And once again, if you want to follow Danny, details down there. They just details down there in the description. Clickable links. Show the brother some love. You get me? So listen, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever time of the world it is, make sure you are safe. Take it easy. Bless.